Welcome to our channel, where we bring you the latest news and updates on the ongoing tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Stay informed with our comprehensive coverage of this significant geopolitical conflict. We provide in-depth analysis, breaking news reports, and expert opinions to help you understand the complexities of the situation. Our channel is committed to delivering accurate and unbiased information, ensuring you stay well informed about the developments in this region. Join us as we explore the historical context, political dynamics, and potential implications of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We aim to provide a balanced perspective, shedding light on both sides of the story. From military escalations to diplomatic negotiations, our channel covers all aspects of this critical issue. Our team of journalists and experts work tirelessly to bring you the most up-to-date information, enabling you to form your own informed opinions. By subscribing to our channel, you will gain access to exclusive interviews, documentaries, and on-the-ground reports from the affected areas. We encourage you to engage in the comment section, as we value diverse viewpoints and aim to foster constructive discussions. Stay tuned to our channel for reliable news, analysis, and insights into the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We are dedicated to providing you with the information you need to navigate this complex situation.
This morning, a major disaster unfolding in southern Ukraine. Drone video showing the Dnipro River gushing through a critical dam and hydroelectric power plant. This video shot from the banks showing huge chunks of the Kakhovka Dam destroyed. Ukraine blames Russia for blowing up the strategic dam overnight, which is under Russian control in the Kherson region. President Zelensky calling it a terrorist attack, while Russian state media accuses Ukraine of attacking the dam without providing any evidence. The reservoir, roughly the same size as Utah's Great Salt Lake, is in effect the front line. Ukrainian civilians on the West Bank and Russian troops on the east. It's one of 6 dams on the Dnipro River and supplies vital drinking water, power, and cooling for the nearby Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The IAEA confirms the power plant has adequate supplies of water in the cooling pools, at least for now.
They have very good level of water, which will help for at minimum 1 month to operate a cooling system.
Energy analyst Alexander Harchenko estimates by tonight some 300,000 civilians will be without clean drinking water and says some 500,000 will be affected by loss of power and flooding. Ukraine's hydropower company said an explosion inside the engine room of the plant caused the destruction. This station cannot be restored.
All right, so the NBC reporter says that Russia's blaming Ukraine and Ukraine is blaming Russia, and that Russia doesn't have evidence. No mention at all about Ukraine's evidence. What do you think happened, Scott? By the way, I've been advised to tell everybody the date and the time. People are listening on Spotify and so forth, and they don't know. It's June 6th, 2023 at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Ooh. Well, I've been consulting with my head of security about what could have gone wrong at the dam, and Maverick has said he hasn't a clue. So I'm going to take him out of the picture. And
okay,
look, let's be straight up. Who benefits from this? Russia doesn't benefit from this in any way, shape, or form. I mean, that's one of the key aspects in judging anything. We've talked about this back in Nord Stream 2, cui bono. Who's to benefit? Well, Russia didn't benefit, so why would Russia blow it up? Ukraine benefits from this in every way, shape, and form. First of all, by flooding the lower portion of the Dnipro River, Ukraine is sweeping away Russian fortifications. The vast majority of the flooding that's taking place right now is on what they would call the, let me get this right, the left bank of the river. And because we have to go the direction the river flows, and the river is flowing into the Black Sea. So the left bank is the Russian bank, and all of the minefields, all of the entrenchments, all the fortification that Russia has built up there are swamped. They're gone. Not only that, but Russia had built in the upper Dnipro River as part of their defensive barrier because of all the water that was in the reservoir, and made it virtually impassable. By draining the reservoir, you've made the prospects of breaching this river far more possible for the Ukrainians from a counteroffensive standpoint. this also creates a nightmare for the Russians in Crimea. It's going to significantly reduce the flow of water into the canal system that feeds Crimea, and it's just going to create problems there. And it's an environmental disaster. I mean, literally, what's going to happen in the Black Sea, we don't know yet. But to surge this much water in an uncontrolled fashion through urban areas, sweeping up pollutants, chemicals, etc. And then dumping this in the Black Sea, it's going to be an ecological nightmare. There's going to be ramifications for years to come, maybe decades to come. And Russia is a Black Sea nation that cares deeply about these things. Then you also have to just weigh in the fact that to accept that Russia has attacked this dam, you'd have to believe that Russia is in the business of shooting itself in the foot. Now, that is the Western narrative. We've been hearing it. Russia blew up Nord Stream. Russia blew up the Crimea Bridge. Russia has blown everything up. Russia has attacked itself with drones. Russia does everything against itself. So why not blow up this dam? Well, Russia didn't do it. What we do know is that the Ukrainians have practiced doing this. They have a general who has bragged about, that we understand there's military value to blowing up this dam, and they actually did a rehearsal where they fired HIMARS missiles against the dam to judge the accuracy and the potential of committing the sufficient damage. And he said, yeah, we can take this dam out anytime we want. Well, they just took it out. Ukraine did this, and they did this because they're trying to generate a new crisis the West is full of Ukraine fatigue right now. They've just pumped Ukraine up with tens of billions of dollars worth of military equipment to carry out a counteroffensive that everybody knows will fail. I hope people understand that. There's just not a snowball's chance in hell that this counteroffensive is going to have any meaningful success. So it's going to fail. The 12 brigades that NATO has built up over the course of the last 6 to 8 months, they will be destroyed, and there's nothing to replace them, nothing whatsoever. And come the NATO summit in Vilnius, which is coming up, you're going to see Ukraine fatigue. People are going to ask the question, how can we go on? What more can we do? Especially with the Ukraine that's incapable of winning this war. So Ukraine is trying to repeat what they did back in April of 2022, when the pressure was being put on Ukraine to sit down with Russia in Istanbul on 1 April and sign a peace treaty. They manufactured the Bucha massacre. I know I got banned from Twitter. My God, it's horrible for daring to say that Ukraine did it. But Ukraine did it, and the whole world knows Ukraine did it. It was a manufactured case, not even close. And the purpose was to create outrage to keep Ukraine from making peace. Now we have a situation where Ukraine is defeated, unable to win, no hope of victory. The world is going to get tired. So Ukraine is creating yet another outrage. Look at these evil Russians. And what has Ukraine done? They want to go to the Security Council to impose even more sanctions. Well, I just came back from Russia, and I'm telling you this. From the Russian perspective, please sanction them more, because the more the West sanctions them, the better their economy becomes. This just shows the absolute vacuum that exists between the earlobes of everybody who supports Ukraine. It is a terrorist regime, literally a terrorist regime. There's no redeeming qualities to any aspect of the Ukrainian regime, and it must be terminated with extreme prejudice. If you believe in peace, understand this: there will be no peace so long as Ukraine continues to believe there's the possibility of survival and victory. The shortest path to peace is a decisive Russian victory. And Ukraine believes that by blowing up this dam, it will be able to prolong this conflict. We'll see what Russia does.
And as is often the case, you write something that turns out to be very relevant and timely, not necessarily intentional, not necessarily right on the nose, but speaking to this issue of trying to get an accurate report out of the mainstream media. Good luck about that. You have written a brand new post that we just published at scottritterextra.com. And if you haven't subscribed already, why not? Go there immediately. Journalism at War. You've highlighted the efforts of a fine journalist, William Wright Bryan, and you tie it to Cynthia Pooler, who had you on talking about your trip and got the audience some lousy hack journalist who did a hit piece on you should have had. And I thought that was a very interesting juxtaposition. Can you just share your thoughts on that? Just enough to drive people to the Substack and read it for themselves.
Well, first of all, understand what today is. It's June 6th. This is the 79th anniversary of D-Day. And William Wright Bryan was a assistant editor at the Atlanta Journal when he signed up to go report on the war. And he could have chosen any number of opportunities to report. The one he picked was to ride on a C-47 transport aircraft loaded with paratroopers to fly over Normandy as these paratroopers dropped out of the airplane to begin the D-Day invasion. He then stayed in the aircraft wisely and flew back to London, where he issued the first report about the D-Day invasion. His is the report that set the standard, and he is noted for that. Dwight D. Eisenhower later gave him the Medal of Freedom because of this report and other reporting. A courageous reporter, a man who wasn't afraid to chase a story. In fact, chasing a story got him in trouble. He was chasing a story of the pending surrender of 20,000 German soldiers when, in their haste to get to the story, they ran into a German roadblock, and he was wounded. He was captured and held as a prisoner until the end of the war, freed by the Soviet army in Poland. And in fact, the Soviets, while he was recuperating from his wound, helped him file reports, to continue his journalism. Imagine that, the Soviets promoting free press. But I point this out because this is a man who had the courage to get on an airplane and chase the truth, to chase a story. And I just juxtapose that against, because I talk about war, and of course D-Day, World War II was a fighting war, but we're in a war now. You and I have talked about this before. It's an information war, and it's a struggle against Russophobia, against the prejudice that exists here in the United States about all things Russia. It allows NBC News to issue such a crap report with such crap analysis, excuse my language, but to promote the notion that Russia did it, be dismissive of the idea that Ukraine did it, just shows that you're not a journalist, you're a hack. Your job is as a stenographer for the official line being published by Washington, D.C. and in Kiev. It's not about the truth. I came back and I was approached by a journalist who will remain nameless. Now, some people say, why are you not naming him? Because he doesn't deserve to be named. He doesn't even deserve to be called a he. I'll call him an it. I don't know what his pronouns are. Mine, I guess I've changed them. They're ooh and rah. So there. But whatever. I don't give a damn about this person anymore. I thought for a moment, this is a person who reached out during the Rage Against the War Machine rally controversy. And I was going down to Washington, D.C. In the aftermath, and I got a phone call, and we spent over an hour and a half talking. And it was clear that he wanted to do a story, but he didn't know what to write. He's like, why should people listen to you? And I said, why wouldn't people listen to me? Well, because of your criminal past. I said, really? Good luck with that, because guess what? People are listening to me and they don't give a damn about my criminal past. Only you seem to be focused on it. And we talked and we talked and we talked, and he couldn't quite grasp a narrative, so he didn't write the story. Now I went to Russia, and apparently this person followed what I was doing, and he cherry picked things, and he called me up, and you could tell right off the bat he already wrote the story. He just needed some quotes. And I spent about 2 hours with this individual. And I just challenged him. I pushed back on everything he said. I went right in his face. Did no hold. You know me, Jeff. No holds bars. And I basically said,
not shy at all.
He's full of it. I challenged him. I mean, I educated him on Bandera. How dare you say there's Nazis in Ukraine? So I educated him on that, shut him up. But then he goes, well, if you're against Hitler, then why are you for Putin? I said, you're comparing Hitler with Putin. Really? What is the criminal equivalent that Putin's done? Well, he's committed. I said, name one. Couldn't. Name one. Couldn't. I challenged him on everything. He couldn't do. This is a guy that wanted to make the centerpiece of his story. In fact, he made the centerpiece of his story my conviction. And when I talked to him about the political aspect of it, he said, oh, how could you dare say that? And I said, why don't you call the prosecutor, get him to commit to a narrative, and then come back to me and I'll show you how it was political. Well, I'll do that. I said, do it. Then he goes, what's the prosecutor's name? I said, are you serious? You're writing a story where you're going to make this the centerpiece of your damn story, and you don't even know the prosecutor's name. You're an idiot. You're a moron. Dismissed. He wrote his piece. It was a hit piece.
Yes, I saw it. And you just gave away his gender, but that's right. But you're right. We didn't
gender.
No,
nowadays,
but
She can be a he and he can be a she. So we don't know.
The point is, we didn't name him. We didn't link to his article. Why give him the audience? And
why give him the audience? Why?
So let's instead tout Cynthia Pooler. Now,
right.
I want to make a point about Cynthia. This is not meant to be demeaning. It's just the truth. Cynthia is very no frills, the opposite of
the opposite,
right?
Yeah.
The opposite of slick, right? But she interviewed you and she got so far 90,000 views. And we're linking to it in our article, so hopefully she'll break 100,000 soon. And the point is, it's more important to be bringing something of value to the audience. They appreciate it than the slick bullshit of the mainstream media, and they're making themselves more and more irrelevant day by day. Yeah.
Look, the individual, he, she, it, whatever, has a modest following here, but the newspaper is a modest following itself. I'll make the following point: that Cynthia has more views on this thing than they have daily subscribers. So, it will just start from there. But Cynthia Pooler is somebody I've known for some time now. She's an activist, a local activist. She's been known for taking on the system. But as you said, she is a no frills journalist. She's come to podcast late in life, and it was fun to watch her learn the technology together, right? Because she keeps asking me questions. I was like, Cynthia, I don't know. You and Jeff does everything. I simply show up. That's it. That's my entire contribution, is to show up on time, hopefully. But she's learned it. And but the beauty of Cynthia is that she is all about the journey. The destination isn't that important to her, meaning that I know she wants to go in a good direction. But for instance, with the he, she, it, what, they, who wrote this hit piece, they already had a destination picked out. They didn't care about the journey. They just lied, cheated, distorted, whatever, to get to a predetermined destination that is so far removed from the direction we should be going. Cynthia's like, hey, I think I like what you're doing, but let's enjoy the journey. Let's enjoy the process of discovery together. And that's the thing I think that makes her podcast attractive, is that she's on this journey with you. She's right next to you. As I point out in the article, she's on board this C-47, nicknamed Snooty. She's with you. She's willing to get on Snooty, just like William Wright Bryan did, to climb on board that airplane, to fly into battle, to engage, because she wants to be part of the story, not making her the story, but she wants to be there as it's happening. She wants to be part of it and report on it. It's that level of enthusiasm that's so genuine. And that's why I decided to name her in this article, because she deserves to be named. She deserves
Absolutely.
to be known.
And that's why I decided to link to the video of her interview with you. So
she's somebody of,
let's get her over 100,000.
Yeah, at the end of the day, is she Walter Cronkite? Nope. Is she even he, she, it, what, them? Nope. She doesn't have that resume either. Thank goodness, because what he, she, it, they, them proved is your resume is meaningless if your intent is ill.
Right. And as far as what he, she, they, it,
pure.
As far as what he, she, they, it, them said about who would be interested in what Scott says, let me just point out that Scott has millions of viewers every week. And I'm not exaggerating. It can be verified. Just look at all the different podcasts he's on. Millions. So apparently he has an audience. All right, let's go to our beloved audience, as a matter of fact. And this is the lightning round. Scott answers every question in 3 minutes or less. Our first question comes from Red, who has an unnecessary D after his name, but okay. And he's in Canada. His question is it true ISIS is fighting in the Ukraine war? Did the Ukrainian forces that attacked Belgorod with new USA Humvees get them from ISIS?
No. I mean, is it possible that you're going to find me one or two, people of Middle East extract who previously fought in ISIS, who have made their way to Ukraine to serve in the territorial forces? Possibly. So, go ahead and find that video and go, aha, see, ISIS is fighting. ISIS is an organization, institution, and ideology. And as such, it is not fighting in Ukraine. You might find one or two individuals who are doing this, but this is not a jihad. This is not something that ISIS would want to get involved in. Two, the U.S. never provided ISIS with new Humvees. You're talking about the Taliban. two totally different things, by the way. ISIS and Taliban are in the life and death struggle in Afghanistan. So if any Humvees, new Humvees, were going to be provided from that region, they would come from Afghanistan, and they're not. You seem to overlook the fact that the United States has provided Ukraine with thousands of Humvees recently, by the way. What do you think goes with all that money? They've been shipping Humvees there forever. And so the Humvees that you see, the other Max Pros or whatever, the IMAX vehicles that are being operated there are coming from the United States. These are provided by the United States to the Ukrainian government, who then hands them over to these forces to attack Russia. So when the United States says we're not in the business of attacking Russia, it's a bald-faced lie. The United States is in the business of attacking Russia. It's providing the equipment to Ukrainian forces who are attacking Russia.
All right. ISIS, the Taliban, who can tell the difference? It's kind of like the Bloods and the Crips. Does the average person know the difference? How's that
I
for,
hope so.
how's that for a ridiculous analogy?
You better not wear red in a blue territory. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, exactly. Walt from Missouri, or as they say there, Missouri. This is kind of a related question about weapons showing up and where's it coming from. Mexican news shows a member of the Gulf cartel in Matamoros with a Javelin AT-4 slung over his right shoulder. How'd that wind up there? Getting ready to respond to U.S. calls for military action against them?
I don't know. The biggest concern, well, that's not a Javelin, first of all. That's an AT-4. Is the serial number from the batch sent to Ukraine, or is it part of weapon shipments that's stolen from the United States? Believe it or not, we have instances in the United States where military armories lose weapons. So I don't know what the source of that is. The fact that they have it should be alarming, not just to the United States, but to the Mexican government. I wouldn't want to be a Mexican Marine or a Mexican police officer or gendarme in an armored vehicle going up against an enemy you think is equipped only with light arms, only to have them show up with an AT-4 and blow a hole in it and kill you. This is an escalation. But let's not exaggerate. One AT-4, two AT-4, 400 AT-4s isn't going to make, if the United States was ever to go to war against Mexico, no amount of AT-4s is going to change that equation. But it would be stupid to go to war with Mexico, and hopefully no rational person is talking about it.